have seen Game of Thrones, right? If you have not, we will suggest that you should see it. It's definitely a great choice. But if you have seen it, did you know about the behind the scenes of it? We have got some special information about BTS from Game of Thrones. Let's dive deeper. Number 1. Fake scenes are filmed to confuse fans. It's insane how serious the Game of Thrones cast became about guarding secrets. They went to great lengths to keep spoilers hidden. Remember when scripts disappeared and episodes were leaked? HBO responded, "Nope, not on our watch." They were on high alert. Kit Harington revealed that he had to perform in 3 phony sequences to avoid the photographers. Can you imagine? That's like working overtime for nothing. 3 sequences equals around 15 extra hours on set, all to keep the real storyline hidden. It left everyone guessing until the episodes aired. They certainly know how to keep us captivated. Number 2. The White Walkers were originally going to talk. In the literature, the White Walkers are far more developed. They appear to have their own society and language, and they may have even mingled with humans in the distant past. However, in the show, they are typically shown as pure evil and never speak. David Peterson, the creator of Valyrian and Dothraki, had planned to give them their own language, Scroff, but in the end, they abandoned that notion. It's a shame because it may have added a fresh dimension to their characters. Just imagine them speaking in this eerie, mysterious tongue. It's one of those interesting details from the novels that didn't make it to the film. Number 3. Gandalf's sword is hiding in the Iron Throne. The backstory of the Iron Throne is considerably more grandiose in the books than it is on television. It is fashioned of 1,000 surrendered swords following Aegon Targaryen's triumph, but even the show has its own mysteries. One intriguing rumor suggests that several well-known swords from other stories may be involved. There's even talk that Gandalf's renowned sword, Glamdring, might be present. Imagine a blade from Middle-earth smack in the heart of Westeros. It's like a hidden treasure hunt for fans to find these references to other stories within the throne itself. Don't you think it adds a new level of intrigue to an already classic piece of Marvel? Number 4. 2 scripts went missing. Before several episodes from the show's 5th season leaked online, there was some drama with some Season 1 screenplays. George R.R. Martin, the author, discussed it on his blog. He claimed to have received an envelope containing the 2 scripts, but it had already been torn apart when he received it. And guess what? The scripts were nowhere to be found. He was confident that they were swiped on purpose and cautioned supporters to keep a lookout in case someone tried to sell them online. But you know what? Those scripts never made it into the wild. Even if there was some sneakiness, the mysteries of Season 1 remained safe. Number 5. Tyrion only eats vegetarian meat. There were several of those great feasts in the show's early seasons, and Tyrion Lannister was always right in the center of them, devouring away. But here's the twist. Peter Dinklage, who plays Tyrion, is an avid vegetarian. Yes, he's all about the plant-based lifestyle. He's even done films with PETA, the animal rights organization, where he discusses why giving up meat is a good idea. So, to make things work for Peter on set, they had to be inventive. Rather than serving him genuine meat during such feasts, they prepared some tofu and other veggie delights for him to consume. Number 6. Those who planned the Red Wedding suffered the exact same fates as their victims. The Red Wedding in Game of Thrones was a jaw-dropping incident in which Robb, Talisa, and Catelyn Stark all died at the twins. Robb was shot with arrows, Talisa was stabbed in the stomach, and Catelyn had her throat slit. The Lannisters, Freys, and Boltons carried out a horrific treachery. Interestingly, karma eventually caught up with them. Tywin Lannister was killed by his own son Tyrion, who used a crossbow, Roose Bolton received a knife to the gut from his own flesh and blood, and Walder Frey got a taste of his own medicine as Arya sliced his throat. It was like a twisted cycle of vengeance, with each culprit suffering a destiny frighteningly identical to their victims. Number 7. Littlefinger can predict the future. Littlefinger's cunning schemes during the first 7 seasons of the show were truly excellent, but predicting the future may be a stretch. In Season 4, he made a scary statement about how people die, mentioning dining tables, beds, and chamber pots. It's strange how Joffrey, Shae, and Tywin met their demise in those same settings that season. Some admirers wondered if it was merely a coincidence or if Littlefinger had some kind of unusual insight. However, rather than Littlefinger possessing mystical prediction abilities, it is most likely a result of the writers' skillful foreshadowing. Nonetheless, it contributed to his enigmatic persona and fostered fan speculation about his genuine motives. Number 8. All the Monty Python references. Game of Thrones and Monty Python's Holy Grail appear to be from distinct worlds in the fantasy realm. Surprisingly, Game of Thrones has made a few references to classic comedies. Remember in the first episode when the Winterfell sequences were filmed in Brune's Castle in Scotland? That's exactly where Castle Anthrax was filmed in Holy Grail. Plus, there's a subtle reference in Low Valyrian to the classic Monty Python line about farting in someone's direction. It's as if they're winking at each other across the fantasy spectrum, demonstrating that even in separate worlds, there may be some shared comedy and recognition. Number 9. Dean Charles Chapman played two different Lannisters. In Game of Thrones, Tommen Baratheon was portrayed by two distinct actors, Callum Wary in seasons 1 and 2, and Dean Charles Chapman in seasons 4 through 6. It's not uncommon for shows to switch performers for roles, but what's interesting here is that Chapman previously starred on the show as Martin Lannister in season 3. Martin was a Lannister family member, Kevin Lannister's son and Lancel's brother. Unfortunately, his appearance in the series was brief, since he died at the hands of the Karstarks. It's interesting how performers can play different characters in the same program. Number 10. All the Harry Potter actors. It makes perfect sense that a slew of British performers wound up on Game of Thrones, given how much of it was shot in the UK and around Europe. So it's no surprise that recognized faces from the Harry Potter films appear in Game of Thrones as well. Number 11. The original pilot was a flop. The first episode of Game of Thrones was not a disaster to air, but there was an unaired pilot that was a complete disaster. Fortunately, it never made it to television. HBO allowed the showrunners to rewrite the majority of it, including recasting certain major characters that were not working. Over time, the episodes improved in quality and size. Fans are probably aware of the unaired pilot's chaos. It's amazing how much a show can evolve from its first iteration to what we see on screen. They also changed a few major parts that were not working. Number 12. The Mountain has been played by 3 different actors. Several characters from Game of Thrones, including Tommen Baratheon and Lord Beric Dondarrion, were replaced. But what about the Mountain? You know, the giant terrifying guy? He takes the cake for recasting. First, Conan Stevens portrayed him in season 1. Then, during season 2, Ian White took control. From seasons 4 to 8, it was Hobfor Julius Bronson. It's kind of strange because the Mountain didn't play a significant role early on. So many people may not have even noticed the changes. But yeah, 3 different guys play him throughout the series. Isn't this crazy? Number 13. Iwan Rheon was almost cast to play Jon Snow. It's incredible to believe that Iwan Rheon, who nailed Ramsay Bolton's cruelty, tried out for Jon Snow. Could you imagine him brooding in Winterfell instead of Kit Harington? Rheon confessed it wouldn't have worked, claiming he'd bring a whole different attitude to Jon. And let's be honest, no one could defeat Ramsay. Choosing him as the villain was a perfect fit. Isn't it funny how things work out in casting? But yeah, Kit as Jon, Rheon as Ramsay, finally the right decisions were made. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed watching our content, then do like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to comment your thoughts below. Hit the bell icon for more updates like this.